The following game has no ESRB rating, nor is there any sort of listing for restrictive content found within the game's description on Steam. From what I've played so far, while it is a aircraft combat game, there isn't really any blood or gore, even though there is violence and the fact that you're basically shooting down various aircraft and ground installations. So, were I to guess, if it were to have been given an ESRB rating, I would assume that it would be rated T for teen. However, that is just my opinion and uneducated assumption. So that being said, I would assume anyone under the age of 13 should not be watching this video. You have been warned.
Greetings and salutations, I am Outlier and I bid you welcome to this channel. Joining me today is of course my usual co-hosts, Snowball and Wolf. And today we're returning back to Project Wingman. So the premise of Project Wingman is that you are a mercenary air combat pilot whose mercenary company has been hired by a nation known as Cascadia to defend its airspace and help protect its forces in its war of, I guess, arguably independence, on account of it being invaded by its more powerful, more militaristic neighbor. And at this point in the game, they basically conquered the whole of the country, so you're essentially being paid by a resistance/rebel group to take their country back. Well, there's a simple reason for that, and the in-game story is that a couple hundred years before the game's events begin, there was some sort of massive cataclysm. I think it was either an asteroid strike or every volcano in the world erupting at once. But basically, the entire world was swept clean of all current and existing national entities and powers. And then after the cataclysm, civilization does what civilization does best, and rebuild. And through the process of rebuilding, new nations and new national powers have been formed. Two of which is Cascadia, which is, I believe, southern Alaska, the western portion of Canada and the United States, and the Federation, which is apparently a pan-Pacific conglomerate of various other smaller nation states. At least, near as I can tell, that's the case. I'm sure it's broken down in the background lore and all the various documents you can leaf through, but I never bothered to get around to actually reading through that, so it's just basically context clues. But the past is the past, and if you wish to witness the past once again, I have an entire playlist on this channel of every episode for this game that I've made so far, including this one. When it gets released, it'll be added to the playlist. But that's a moot point. And speaking of past episodes, if you haven't seen last episode, the entire mercenary company was leveraged in a long-distance strike to take out a massive communications array that the Federation was using to basically cause a communications blackout in Cascadia. So Cascadian Liberation Forces, or Resistance Forces, or whatever they call themselves, weren't able to communicate with each other, and they also couldn't communicate with the larger world as a whole. However, we've since blown that up and stolen all of their snacks and managed to get back home. So now the world can know and tell what's going on in Cascadia. Whether or not they give a darn, that's an entirely different question. But being a mercenary or combat pilot, the world stage isn't really your character's concern. But that was last episode, and this is this episode. So, past victories aside, every new battle is a new chance to both win and / or lose. That depends upon one's mission objectives. If nobody gets to complete their objectives, then nobody wins. And if everybody gets to complete their objectives, it's called peace. But I digress, and with that stated, this game is of course made by... Thank you again. And that being said, let us begin.
All pilots, listen up. I'm getting in my plane right now. So when this briefing is done, I expect to see all of you running.
All Allied air power not currently predisposed in other operations are to be scrambled immediately and make their way to the Bering Strait. In the days since the destruction of the Solana communication relay, the Federation has been disorganized and subject to our own electronic warfare countermeasures. It is because of this, our first conventional victories up and down the front lines are being reported, and the Federation is dealing with losses it hasn't had to deal with in decades. Recently, in order to improve individual unit combat effectiveness, the Federation has been discharging Cascadian manned units and replaced them with soldiers who aren't nationals. Subsequently, many of our once misguided countrymen have defected and are providing us with invaluable intel and manpower. Earlier today, one of our patrols caught a group of transports using the cover of an Arctic storm to get unorganized and underpowered Federation units out of Cascadia, probably to regroup and redeploy later. The patrol engaged, and the Federation sent more fighters to cover them. Seeing as these transports represent the bulk of Federation forces who have experience fighting us, we did not want them to regroup, so we sent more reinforcements. Squadron leaders and base commanders on both their side and ours have been escalating force deployment ever since combat began. High-profile squadrons and our forces in theirs are currently present. This snowball effect, however, has inadvertently created, by all accounts, what is turning out to be the most expansive aerial battle in the war thus far, and is steadily falling out of control. We cannot let the Federation have any more of their forces escape and regroup, even if it means the largest furball in history.
So basically, the Federation forces are on the retreat. A couple of their forces evacuating Cascadia were caught by a combat air patrol over the Bering Strait and were attacked. They called for reinforcements, so reinforcements showed up, and then the patrol called for reinforcements, so reinforcements showed up, and so forth and so on, and so forth and so on, until basically everybody's pulling anything that's airworthy and can fly into this battle. And by the reconnaissance data, it looks like it's going to be solely air targets. So I guess I gotta leave the air-to-ground weapons behind. Alright, so now if I look at the hangar, I have insufficient funds to get the F-18. Which, to be fair, I mean, it does have 2 weapon slots that can fit both multi-lock anti-air missiles, which is largely the go-to missiles that I usually use. And then the SK-27 is also, I also have insufficient funds to purchase. I do, however, have the F-15. Although, of the 3 weapon slots, it can only really fit anti-air missiles on 2 of them. The MiG-29, on the other hand, can fit anti-air missile, well, multi-lock anti-air missiles on all 3 of its slots. And the F-14 can as well. MiG-31 only has 2 slots, but I think it's actually designed for anti-air usage. In fact, outside of standard missiles, all of its special weapons are anti-air oriented. And the SK-25U, by contrast, is largely an anti-ground attack plane. The F-16C is also usable for the mission parameters. I don't talk about the CR-105, although I could technically use it. And then we have the older aircraft, which, I mean, I could technically use any of these aircraft. I mean, standard missiles will attack anything. But something tells me that I'm going to have just massive piles of aircraft. So having more multi-lock anti-air missiles is probably for the better. So let's go with the F-14. And while I can technically have high impact or high velocity standard missiles be used, the basically faster or more damage dealing variants of the standard missile, for every weapon slot I'm just going to go with multi-locking anti-air missiles. Leave the unguided bombs at home. And per usual, the only defensive module this plane has is flares. So let's just go. Keep forgetting if Prez is available to be in the back seat on this one. I think the Tomcat has a two-seater. What do we pay you for? That's not true. Okay, so Prez is actually here. I'm just dodging missiles left and right trying to hit this target.
Hitman 1 locked on.
Everybody's talking, I can't actually provide commentary. Alright, so that one's dead, finally. As for the 3 planes that were following me, get back here.
Monarch, good release. Fox 2.
Alright, you're dead. I'm guessing the transports are leaving.
Hitman 1 confirmed.
And I'm assuming the yellow planes are the transports. I'm also assuming that they're the primary target. Back here. I think that one blew up. Go this way. That was a miss. Where are you? There you are. I also gotta remember, there's a raging snowstorm underneath of us. Working on it. That one's dead. There you are. Alright, I'm not certain who killed that one. Planes don't exactly have a ramming function. Alright, that was a bad angle, but I fired anyway. And you're dead. Next. Flying into the storm. There you are. Now we're in the storm. There goes that transport. Got one leaving. One was leaving. I mean, it still is, technically. dead. Got another one trying to leave the combat area. Alright, now is that everybody trying to leave? Get above the storm. I live on the edge of the map. Alright, back to the battle at hand. Away. Alright, 2. But I think out of like the 6 missiles I fired, only 2 actually hit. He's dead. Gone. You're gone. It's a missile. That's also a missile. Several missiles. He's gone. So it appears to be what, 5 enemies left? Well, this is a case where we have to destroy everything that's hostile before more hostiles show up. There is wisdom in that. Get back here. Alright, there are more transports out here? It's basically everybody's Air Force is out. Alright, that was a close one. Where are you? Goodbye. Next. Can't see. Can't see. Where are you? There you are. I think that missed. Missiles away. I think the plane would run out of flares by now. Alright, you're a tricky one. And you're dead. Next. The guy behind me probably shooting missiles.
Hard rock, let it fly.
Angle's bad. And he's going next. Alright, too close to actually have multi-lot to be able to track multiple planes at once. Yeah, I'd say just let them through and join the battle. So, one question, if this is everybody's aircraft, is the loser not going to have an air force anymore? Interceptors, aren't those like anti-ground planes? What are they doing in an anti-air fight? I mean, to be honest, they send everything that can fly, so... And that one's now out of range, but that missile still hit. And that missed. Again, I know one of the standard missiles already hit, so he's damaged, so there's no point in wasting 2 missiles when one would do, but since he's dodging everything, it's cannon time. There's nothing like bringing a knife to gunfight, and I think I'm actually running low on altitude. So... You're dead now. Now I'm actually going to wonder if I'm going to run out of missiles. And I mean every missile. Also like how I got like 5 planes right around me and it auto-targets the farthest one away. To be fair, the furthest one away was directly in front, so... Alright, so it appears to be only 2 planes left. One plane left. Of course, for all I know, this guy dies and suddenly there's like an entire boss fight. Or not.
We got inbound. Hop up there in a group of them. Q30. Looks like they pulled back for one last push. There's a lot of them. IFF confirmed. Federation Peacekeeping Squadron Crimson identified with more reinforcements. This is it. Crimson Squadron. Ready to be MRAs. We're putting an end to this party. Looks like it's those mercenaries. Think they might turn tail and run again? Not this time. Open fire. Box 3.
You're not the only one with multi-lock anti-air missiles.
Top countermeasures. Hit them head on.
Something's incoming. I can't see it.
Our survivors rally behind the peacekeepers. It's our only chance. Now the Crimson's hearing more coders.
Not necessarily. They're still mortal. They die to bullets just as much as anybody else.
Crimson. Focus on the enemy IFFs. Expand off the enemy IFFs. Take care of this one. Looks like it is. They're trying to knock out the mercs. Good news. Box 3. Yes, sir. The fighter with the peace symbol on it. Tag him. I'm on the leader. On the ground. Your target, buddy.
Oh, that's actually the first time I took a hit this entire mission.
It's all lined up.
One down. Wasn't one of the target planes. Say this guy.
Bandit fly.
Now if we can get around him. Around to him, I should say. Okay, I'm fairly certain that guy just like flipped around and didn't reverse. Because there's a reason why Crimson Team's seen as the best the Federation has. Fielding the best that they got. One of them got tagged by the looks of it. Back here. That's a hit. But to point out, 2 standard missiles did that. That's 1/4 health.
Enemy's getting radar lock. Evading. I'll take care of this one. I'm engaged defensive. Throwing 6. Launch missile.
No, I think the missile's just flying straight. You go. Another hit. One down. Yeah. Yeah, I don't care for the second kind of piece. That's a hit. I swear, they're able to, like, instantly reverse. Planes, I don't think, can do that in real life. Not without, you know, falling clean out of the sky. We're getting hit by stray bullets, I think. Come on. Back here. 2 down. Working on it. Well, they did say that they were going to bring their best. And there's no better than the reality-bending guys of Crimson Team, I guess. Still, as I said, they are mortal. Back here. Away. Yes. 3 down. There you are. But the point on, I'm actually running low on standard missiles. And you start with like 100 of those things. Yeah, well, half of Crimson's now dead. I feel the need to take out the non-boss pilots next, just to clean up the air. Fire off the multi-lock and see what happens. Once I have more special weapons than I do standard missiles. One down. Looks like we lost a friendly pilot. Well, I'm actually trying to save standard missiles right now. Alright, I think I'm getting really dangerous close to just flying into people.
Missile is tracking.
That's actually a hit. Okay, cool. As I take a hit, luckily it's not a missile hit. And I'm caught in a turning war. Another hit. Taking the occasional bullet hit, but thankfully not a missile. I say that as I'm probably going to get hit by a missile. Oh goody, more of them. There's a reason why these guys are considered the best. And splash another one. I'm thinking that's the lead of the SK-37. I think we made him angry.
That's right. You better get out of my radar range. Run!
I'm inclined to let them. I'm down to 19 standard missiles and 25 multi-lots. And less than 2,000 rounds. By firing more ordnance than they do. Let's not get cocky. War isn't over yet.
How in God's name
I'm fine with them.
Monarch, you're something else, I tell you. We've got no right to still be alive.
And yet you are. That's our victory.
That makes sense.
We've got to go contact the record agency or something, because you racked up a ridiculous kill score. We're looking clear across the board, Galaxy. Yes, sir. All Federation forces are pulling back across the IDL. Hey, pop that champagne bottle I got in the fire extinguisher box. I don't give a damn if we get the consoles right. We're rich after this mission. Rich! Team, Monarch, we've got to thank you. If you didn't tie up those peacekeepers, well, I don't know what would have happened. I've got an idea.
Everybody dies.
Hitman Team RTV!
The full fury of Federation air power was unleashed today over the Bering Strait, and miraculously, thanks to the actions of the Hitman team, we have not only survived it, but bested it. The Federation's force projection capabilities will be heavily decreased now that their air support across the theater has been effectively decimated at the moment. It'll take some time for them to shore up more pilots from their vassal states, but for now, we have the total advantage. All that remains for them, then, is their airships. But we're drafting up a plan to deal with them now.
I'm guessing they're the
Hey,
next target.
headquarters, get some rest, and expect a little bonus. We couldn't get an exact count of how many fighters you downed today, but we'll just round up and call it fair.
Yeah. Alright, so according to this list, I took out 14, 25, 28, 32, 38, 42, 44, 45, 48, 50, 54, 56, 58, 61, 62 aircraft. And that's just by going off of the the basic count of the air list of the air units listed there. Alright, so I'm guessing the airships that they mentioned will be the next mission's target. Slightly miffed that we didn't get a chance to take out the whole of Crimson Team, but if they're the best of the best, then they're probably going to be wiping them out is probably going to be saved for the final mission of this game. Because something tells me they're being billed as the boss unit, but we did manage to take out 5 of the 8, which simply proves that the best of the best still die, which is true of our flight as well. Fully expect one of these next high-profile missions, Kaiser, the boss of Sicario, gets taken out, but that's just my assumption. Although it does worry me that Galaxy, the AWACS commander, has a champagne bottle where the fire suppression device should be. Especially considering he's perfectly fine with getting all the consoles wet, which will probably cause him to catch fire, requiring that they use a fire suppression device, which is never a good thing on a sealed and high-altitude object. But that's just me, and I don't fly the AWACS, so moot point, I guess. So I guess next, as I said, we take out their airships, but that's going to be another mission, and that's also going to be another day, because I'm going to call it here.
Everybody stay safe from the plague, and have a good day.